Hello, it's Denys, and we now will speak with Jan from Crashtest Security. He will tell us how to solve problems with QAs and how to automate this process. So, can you just describe what your product is doing and how you solve some problems?
Yeah, of course. So our product automates security testing for web applications and APIs. So if you develop any product that's on the web or you have an app on your phone, you probably have an API in the background, and you need to do, at some point, you need to do what we call a penetration test. It's not something that you will do at the first day of your startup, but at some point your customer will ask you for it. Is your application secure? And what our software enables you to do is to drastically reduce the cost for the security testing, and it also automates it. So you're not doing it just once, but you can do it automatically for every release.
Okay. And does your project work with all technologies like backend technologies, PHP, Python, Java, maybe .NET?
Yeah, so a little bit of background. So you have two types of security testing for applications. One is, we call it white box, then you look at the source code. And the other part is black box, then you look at the application from the outside, just like a hacker would see it when he goes on the web. And our solution focuses on the black box testing. So for us, it doesn't matter what the technology is in the background because we look from the outside.
Interesting. Do you have some programs for startups who can use your firstly, maybe some discounts?
Yeah, so if you go on our website, it's crashtest-security.com, and you just register, you get a 30-day free trial. So if you don't do anything else, just register on our website, do your first scan, see if you have any vulnerabilities or not, and you already got some value out of it, right? So you can either sleep better or you know what to address in the future.
It was a little ad from Web Summit. So can you share your ideas, for example, for startup entrepreneurs, how to get your first paid clients, how to make a great demo?
Yeah, of course, like nobody wants to talk about security testing, right? So if you go to somebody, hey, what's the security of your web application? Nobody's be like, yes, that's a great topic. So you really need to understand where are the guys going that you want to talk to. So for us, it's somebody like a developer, and he's really frustrated with this penetration test because it takes long, he has to set up a specific process, it's not agile. So where do these guys go when they want to find out about it? It's mostly security conferences, there are blogs, so that's where we go, and that's how we find our customers, because these are the guys that we need to talk with, because they are actually the people that have the problem. For us, it's not enough to know which company has this problem. One of our customers is Flixbus, for example, and for them, they use a lot of apps, of course, and they develop in an agile fashion, but you still need to have that one person that has this pain that you're solving.
Can you tell me, maybe you know, how to find your first paid client? What channel you need to use? For example, social media, Web Summit, or just outreach in email?
So that's of course different for everybody, and we're still working on how to figure that out. Even if we have our second round of funding, we are tracking the different channels, and for us, fairs is the best way on how to find our first customer. So because here, all the people, they have a technical background, they understand a little bit about agile development, and they are not afraid to talk about security and maybe what they are not yet doing. So for us, fairs work really well. For other business, I assume it's paid advertising on Instagram. That would not work at all for us, because we've tried it and it didn't work. The other channel that works really well for us is partners. So if you have somebody who will sell your product for you, that's also a great way.
Maybe do you have some affiliate program?
If anybody is interested, we're happy to launch that. Of course, because our product is quite technical to sell, so we need to give our partners some education on how we sell it. So if anybody is interested, also reach out to us. Yeah.
Okay. So what tips can you advise to new startup entrepreneurs to use from your opinion?
So mostly when we talk with other startups on security, because that's an area of expertise that we have, there are things that you don't need to do the first day. Like the first thing is you just want to get your product out, you want to showcase it works. Nobody's going to ask you in your first MVP, is this secure? But at some point you need to switch and you actually need to think about it. So there are some quite easy things that you can do from the very beginning, like just best coding practices. But then like every like 3 months or so, you should think about, hey, is there something else that I should really be doing in the security state?
One more question. Can you just tell how you motivate yourself every day to work?
It's difficult. There are definitely days where you don't have, you're not like super motivated to like pick up the phone and call customers. But ultimately, it's about like when you think about down the line, you want to have that exponential growth of your startup. And if you're not putting in the work right now, that's never going to happen, or it's going to happen a day later. And it really depends on what motivates you about your work. So what motivates me every day is I know that if I talk with customers and I make them aware that security is something important and it can be done really easy with our solution, that makes their life a little easier and it makes their applications more secure.
How do you think for startup it's important to have some KPIs? And if you have some KPIs, what KPIs do you use? Maybe you always need to know your churn rate, your revenue, IRR, MRR. What KPIs is the most important?
We actually had a great talk yesterday by somebody from 500 startups about that. He like had a great dashboard. Maybe I can send you a link somewhere. It was really good because it was like you should have your investor set of KPIs because they want to know MRR, how many new customers, what's your sales, how many demos did you do, and that's all important to give to your investors. Because if you don't know that and your investors are not happy, then that's a terrible spot to be in. But then there should also be a set of KPIs that you really care about and that you need to know every day. So for us, we're still figuring it out, but we want to know how do users use our software, so how many come back, how many active scans have we running, how many new projects are set up, how many vulnerabilities have been fixed. And then you also need to know what are you doing in the sales process, and there we need to go really into details, how many visitors you have on your website, what channel is working well, is it paid advertising or fairs like here, which works really well for us. So it depends, and everybody needs to figure out what KPIs really are useful for them.
Okay, and what is the biggest mistake this year you have done on work?
It's of course a tough question, but for us, we thought in the beginning that cold calling was a really good way to get to our customers, but it's really not scaling. So I did a lot of cold calling earlier this year, and we felt like if you're talking to people on the phone, you don't get their reactions, you don't know what mood they're in, you don't know if they actually have a need for your product. So that's why fairs work way better for us, because here, if I talk to you, I know do you have a need? Then if no, then okay, thank you very much. But if yes, then we can actually talk about the issues that you have. So our mistake was thinking that the wrong channel would work, but through tracking which channels work best and looking at our KPIs, that actually helped us.
Thank you for the interview. It's a very good tips.
Thank you very much for the interview.